All right, Herb Stratford in Tucson, Arizona. Good day, Allison.
Good day. Gosh, that is so beautiful behind you. Is that all terracotta? I don't have my glasses on, but is it all terracotta back there?
It is actually arts and crafts pottery, so it's like from the turn of the century. So yes, thank you. And some vintage posters. Yes.
I hadn't even gotten there yet, but it's nice to talk to you. Beautiful.
Well, hey, so I want to start by just saying, you've been sort of in like a horror movie sort of genre girl for a little while. So getting into this sort of rom-com world, was that sort of fun to jump into that after
It
doing
was
what you've been
so
doing?
fun. It was so fun and so different. It felt really new. It felt honestly great to be able to tell like my mom's friends who are always nervous that the movies I do are going to be too scary that they could watch this one. It was really honestly, it was a genre that I pictured myself doing before horror even entered my sphere of awareness because I can barely make it through horror movies. I am a huge wuss. And when Get Out came along, I really hadn't even thought about doing horror movies. This was more the kind of movie that I had imagined for myself. Then my career went another way, and having the opportunity to now do this genre, now that I have more life behind me, now that I'm a mom, honestly, I feel like I might not have been ready for it until now. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to tackle this subject matter from the point of view of someone who's like a mom and who's very in love and has some authority on these subjects now.
Well, and I got to say too, I think what's interesting about this one is the sort of multi-generational thing because it
Yeah.
wasn't just sort of the, woman in peril sort of, horrible man has done something. And so that sort of I felt like brought in, another audience and it brought in multi-generational audiences. Was that something that attracted you as well?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I heard from so many people I know who went with their teenage kids. And that's so nice because I know from being a teenager how hard it is to find stuff that you share with your parents that you can consume together in a way that's fun and can bring you closer. And you can have those conversations in the car afterwards and you're leaving the movie theater. And, you know, it's the same reason that my curfew for the entire time I lived at home was 11:30 on Saturday nights or 11:28 so that I could watch SNL with my dad. It's like you just yearn for that material that you can share. And so I felt so gratified to know that this movie brought that to a lot of people.
And let's talk about, I know I'm talking to you, but let's talk about the cast because you had such great people to work with. I mean, obviously Dave and, and Clancy for sure. And
Right.
McKenna Grace is on a tear right now with films. So was it fun working with those guys on set?
Everybody. I mean, Mason Thames just like made history because he became the first person since Jim Carrey to be in three number one movies in a year. Incredible. They're all, here's the thing, as talented as they are, they're as decent as human beings. So I felt so lucky. You never know. You can get a vibe. Whenever we're casting something, I always like to watch panel interviews with someone's cast that they worked with because you can pick up a lot about the way a cast feels about each other watching those interviews, especially as someone who's done them. And I did my research. I asked people who had worked with them. They're lovely, but like nothing can prepare you for the sheer joy of McKenna or the like sweetness of Mason or the decency and the talent of Dave. Like this group was just phenomenal. I had known Willa since college, so I already knew about how great she was, and we had done a play together. And we had been friends for a long time. But it just was like a dream cast, and Scott was iconic. It was like yeah, one person after the next was just dreamier and dreamier.
Well, I just want to say congratulations. This is a lot of fun. I hope we see more of this from you. Not that I have a problem with the horror movies, but it's nice to see you do other stuff. And thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much.